What is up, guys? I do hope you're well. My name is Mark and today we're covering, you guessed it, some more r/am I the butthole. If you want to skip the initial waffle, timestamps are in the description below and along the timeline, but if you are new here, please consider hitting that like, that subscribe and maybe that notification bell too. Possibly opening an Instagram account too soon, so be on the lookout for that. And we had a new member yesterday who joined us. A huge thank you, Entitled Goober. Thank you for joining us. You are really appreciated, as well as the rest of our community who join us every day to sit and listen to me talk absolute rubbish. Thank you so much. And with that being said, let's get in to today's stories. Much love, guys. Our first story comes from a throwaway account. Am I the arsehole for yelling at my fiance for giving my dog away? My best friend Kelly passed away 2 years ago. We were both childhood friends. She adopted a dog Leo 7 years ago and we became attached to him, and he was the bond that made our friendship stronger. When she passed away, I took him in a few months after she passed, and it felt like she was there every time he runs in or cuddles with me. I recently moved in with my fiance. He lives out of town, and brought Leo in with me. I could sense that my fiance didn't feel comfortable with having Leo live with us. He sat with me and asked if we could offer him up for adoption since I have been busy with college and he was busy working. I told him the story behind taking Leo in and he sort of dropped it. During the last couple of weeks I was visiting my parents and asked my fiance to take care of him while I was away. He said okay. I called every night to check in on Leo and I could hear him bark in the background. But a few days later he stopped. My fiance told me he was outside. I came back and I noticed Leo was gone. I waited till my fiance got back and he sat me down and explained that while he was out with Leo, a family approached him and asked him if he was putting him up for adoption, and said they were willing to provide a home for him, since their son, who didn't let go of Leo, lost his dog who looked the same / age as him. He said he felt sorry for the kid and decided to give them Leo. I was in shock. I lost it and yelled at him that wasn't his place because Leo was mine. He lashed out saying I was hurting his feelings and overreacting. I told him he needed to get him back. He just gave me their number and told me to handle it. I've had a hard time trying to get him back, and I did eventually. I packed up and moved back with my parents. My fiance is calling and apologising, then said he can no longer pay for rent on his own. I didn't reply. My family said I should forgive him and get over it, but I just couldn't. I feel heavy and unable to even talk to him anymore. Now, again, I'm putting myself in this person's situation, and I'm giving my opinion here, so you're more than welcome to disagree. But the family said that they should forgive him and get over it. No way. That is insane that the person just decided to give someone's pet, just give it away in the middle of the bloody street like that. How nuts is that? That person is untrustworthy, and I don't think I wouldn't be able to forgive them for that. So I'm going to go with not the arsehole on this story, because that is absolutely insane that someone could think, that someone could stand there and think, yeah, I'm just going to give this dog away right now because that's the right thing to do. What is going through their head? So not the arsehole, and we're going to go down to the comments below to see what they're saying down there. Ghoul Zombie Queen says, not the arsehole, that was not his dog, not his decision, and he had absolutely zero right. He's not actually sorry, he's just realising how much it sucks to lose a partner and the stability that comes with a committed relationship. That's his problem now. You enjoy your pup and your life away from someone that inconsiderate and terrible. OP replies to this saying, I can't even imagine going back with Leo only to have my fiance do it again. And I can't leave him at my parents' house because I just can't live away from him. He's a piece of me that I'm not willing to give up, ever. Bend Kret says, not the arsehole, he is obviously not a trustworthy person if he is willing to do this knowing your connection to Leo and without even talking to you until several days after the fact. Tell him to go pound sand and to lose your number. Oh, there's that saying again, pound sand, I love that. OP replies to this saying, Leo matters to me. I became so fond of him after my best friend passed away. She loved him so much that he was the last one who was with her when she died. He'd been through a lot and I could see it in his eyes. I love him so much, and with that I'm lucky because I know that Kelly never left me. Dogs and Cats World says, not the arsehole, what a complete betrayal of trust. Also, he seems to care more about not being able to pay the rent than what he did to you. OP replies once again saying, yes, I felt so betrayed by what he did, and for him to be calling because he was concerned about paying the rent says a lot to me. It absolutely does. But now I'm going to turn it to you guys. What do you guys think of this story? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to vote on that poll in the description for story 1. And our next story is from another throwaway account called "Am I the arsehole for calling my father by his name and not for calling his new wife my mama? My father Jonas cheated on my mother Poppy with a woman 10 years younger than him called Isla. He kept her a secret for 2 years, and when my mum found out, he kicked my mum out and sent her divorce papers. He demanded I stay, but I was so angry that I left with my mum. This was 2 years ago. My mum refused to speak to him, but my father would keep trying to reach out to me, and I refused to speak to him as well. He turned our lives upside down, and I lost all respect for him. We stayed NC with him, except for on my birthdays when he would send me money. He announced that he was getting married to Isla last month and invited me to the wedding, but not my mum. My mum asked me to go because he was still my father, and I didn't want to, but I went to his wedding. This wedding was yesterday. When I arrived, he greeted me with a hug and told me he missed me, but I didn't say anything to him. He told me it was good to see me, and I said, "I can't say the same, Jonas." I called him by his name, did not say Dad, because I can't ever call him that again. I'm still very angry about all that happened. He was surprised and asked me why I called him that, and why I didn't call him Dad, and said that I had no respect for him, and he did not deserve that title. He told me to stop being so rude on his wedding day, and to save the dramatics for later. I ignored him and went and sat with my cousins. After the wedding, Isla came over to me, and she was so excited to be my new mama, and that she had redecorated my room so I can move back in. I told her that I won't call her anything except for her name. She won't be a part of my life. She said I was being rude to my new mama and said, "My only mama is back in my house. Don't expect me to call you anything except for your name." And she was offended and asked me why I was ruining their wedding day. I don't understand why they are obsessed with me calling them what they want me to. This is weird. I understand Jonas's perspective, but there is no way I will call Isla my mum. I told her I didn't care, but my father insists I need to stop calling them by their names and that I should treat them with more respect. I refused, and he is calling me rude and insolent. My cousins and aunts agree with him, but I need an external opinion. Am I the arsehole? You know, I think OP in this story is incredibly hurt right now from what happened before, and you can totally get that. So I think OP needs to do what OP wants to do. You know, they have a right to feel the way they are. The dad has absolutely fucked up their family, and then he's wanting them to call like them dad and mum. The mum thing is weird in itself. You don't have to call someone that's married into your family mum, and her requesting that you have to do that is weird in itself. And the whole lack of respect thing is a different level, because he's the one who ruined your family. You'd think he'd have a bit more understanding about what he's done, but he clearly doesn't. It's an absolute mess. But I'm going to say not the arsehole in this situation, because I think OP has a right to feel the way they are right now. Yes. So let's go to the comments below to see what we can find. Catalia Jackson says, "Not the arsehole. He turned your lives upside down and cheated. He lost the right to be called your father. Cheaters don't deserve good things. Call him whatever you want to. You have no obligation to call Isla anything. She's way out of line asking you to call her your mum. You're not the arsehole, but they both are." I am the Lizard Queen says, "I'm inclined to say not the arsehole for calling them by their names, because why on earth would you call this woman mama? That's just odd. But to attend their wedding just to say you have no respect for them and they're not part of your life, that makes me want to say everyone sucks here. I don't really understand why you went, if I'm honest. If you don't want a relationship with them, then attending just seems a bit of a weird choice." Dean GZB says, "Not the arsehole. So she never really talked to you and then expects you to call her your new mum. She kinda seems delusional. Maybe your father told her wrong things about you and your relationships to him. That's a good point. You don't know what was being said in the background to this other woman." And Slitherclaw3 says, "Not the arsehole. You're in no way obligated to call Isla mama. I don't get why they're so obsessed with this." Now, I'm going to turn this one to you guys. What do you guys think of this story? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to vote on that poll in the description for story 2. And our next story comes from Mountain Fisherman. "Am I the arsehole for telling my daughter that I don't have any interest in playing grandfather to her kids? I love my daughter, but I never really wanted kids and never liked them all that much. My ex-wife did, and because I was young and in love, I decided to have a child with her. I do not for 1 second regret my decision. My daughter has brought much joy to my life and made me a better person, but I gave up a lot of myself in order to give her a good childhood and life. I'm not saying this because I feel I deserve a medal or sympathy, but I was relieved when she started to get older and more independent because I gradually began to get my life back. My daughter is now in her late 20s and had her first child this year. I'm very happy for her, but I just don't have any interest in being a grandfather. I was never much of a kid person, and becoming a parent hasn't changed that. I did my duty to her, and I feel I've done as much as was expected or required of me. Anything now is a bonus and optional, and I'm opting out. I didn't come right out and tell my daughter this, but after she kept trying to have me come to her house or bring the baby over to mine, and I kept declining, she knew something was wrong. I told her the truth, and she didn't take it well. My daughter thinks I'm being an arsehole by shirking my duties as a grandfather. My ex-wife agrees and says I am being selfish, that by signing up for parenthood, I was also signing up for grandparenthood. They also feel this is even more true in my case, since my grandson's paternal grandfather is dead. I disagree in both cases. I've done my job and should be free to engage as much or as little as I want with any grandkids or great-grandkids, but it should not be expected. Edit, they would like me to come over, or let them come over 3 to 4 times a month, at least weekly, and some babysitting. You know, through this story, you talked about your daughter like being pretty much a job. You said it brought a lot of joy into your life, but as soon as she got old enough, you was like, oh yeah, fuck that. So as soon as she like turns, I don't know, adult, 18, 19, 20, that's it, you have no more to do with her. Like, you suddenly lose the title of becoming a parent because she's old enough now, which is ridiculous in itself. I mean, you have every right to step back and not want anything to do with anyone else if you want to. That is your choice in life, but it does not stop you from being an asshole. And I'm not sure if I'm going to get shot down for my opinion on this one, because, you know, everyone can choose their own path in life. But I still think the way he's gone about it makes him a complete arsehole in this situation, you know. Some of the things he was saying gives him the arsehole title, in my opinion, but I'd love to hear yours on it. And hopefully we're going to get some different opinions down below in the comments. So let's go down there first. PandaNap says, you're the arsehole. It doesn't sound like your daughter is asking for anything more than for you to meet her child. You're well within your rights to say no to babysitting and set boundaries as a grandparent. It sounds like you are refusing any contact with the child. If you want to maintain a relationship with your daughter, occasionally being around your grandchild is part of the deal. Fliffers says, you're the arsehole. You talk about your daughter as being a job that you've completed and don't have any obligations to anymore. You stopped being a parent at 18. Are you required to be in your daughter's life? No, but not being involved in her life gives her every right to view you as an arsehole. You are free to engage as little as you want with your grandson, but that doesn't mean you're free from being called an arsehole for it. If you don't want to babysit, fine. Let her know you are not comfortable with that, but viewing her and her baby as a burden to even visit or get to know is of course going to upset her. B4 Pangea says, info, what are we talking here? You don't want to be the default babysitter, or you really just don't want to know your grandson at all? I think it's fair to not just really be much of a kid person and not want to be an automatic option for childcare. But what's coming off here is really, I couldn't care less about the kid, don't ask me to. That's cold, man. Expect it to have a very chilling effect on your relationship with your daughter, because it will. OP replies to this end, I'm okay with some limited visiting, I don't want to babysit at all. And potentially Nox says, you're the arsehole, you're not agreeing to be a parent again, and if you love your daughter, it shouldn't be that big of a deal to spend time with her and her kid. If you don't want to babysit, then fine, but that shouldn't mean you can't see the baby at any point in any way. Roaches in my blister says, you're the arsehole, you aren't playing grandfather, you are the grandfather, you aren't raising another child, you will just have a healthy relationship with your grandkid. Don't be surprised when you and your daughter drift apart. To be honest, if you didn't want kids, you shouldn't have had one. Now I'm going to turn this one to you guys. What do you guys think of this story? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to vote on that poll in the description for story 3. And our next story is from Billy Mahoney. Am I the arsehole for not letting a couple sit together to watch a movie? My male 33 family, brother male 30, father male 63, mother female 63, and I went to the movies Christmas Day 2014. This was when I was still willing to put up with the first come / first serve seating. Since I am super picky about where I sit, we go early. Still, place is jammed, I'm seated off centre from where I would have liked. Left a seat between myself and the person on my right. To the left was dad, brother, mum, empty aisle seat. We settle in, there's 15 minutes waiting for the film, we watch trivia and ads for snacks, joke around, bathroom runs etc, then lights go down, trailer start. Theatre is packed. There are individual empty seats but no groups. I'm thankful I insisted we come early. A couple enters, they look around, enter the aisle I'm in from the other side, my right, and squeeze past a full row of the seated folks and get to the empty seat on my right. They say, "Hi, can you move over a spot?" I look left at my family. They're getting coats and stuff together to accommodate the request, but I don't want to move. Number one, I'm already more off centre than I would like. If they had come from the other side and asked us to move right, putting me closer to the centre and not giving my mum the garbage aisle seat, I would have agreed. 2. This will give the rest of my family worse seats. 3. I showed up early and have been here a quarter of an hour. 4. Unless they were planning on making out during a crowded Christmas day showing off Inception, they don't need to sit together. In the interest of full disclosure, I will admit. 5. Tardiness plus disrupting films, even trailers, are pet peeves. I look at the couple and say, no. They say, seriously, you can't move over one seat so we can sit together. I respond calmly but firmly that I've been sitting there 15 minutes, I'm not moving, and there are other seats available. They get loud, I dig in, my family is whispering it's no big deal and are horrified I'm causing a scene. While bickering is going, another late film goer slips in, takes the aisle seat to my mum's left. Now we can't move. Couple sees this and storms off to sit separately in the front row, but not before screaming at me across the theatre that I'm a fucking arsehole. I wish them happy holidays. On the ride home, family asked what the hell that was about, and I'm annoyed they didn't back me up and were so ready to give up spots. We dropped the issue when we got home, life moves on. When I tell this story to friends, most of them side with me, but it was a mindfuck to have family, who have my back 99 times out of 100, say I was being the arsehole. I will admit, where I sit is more important to me than it is to your average person, which I know, and is why I pushed to go early. Will also admit I was having a rough time at work, which may have put me in a less than agreeable mindset. Moving over would not have made a huge difference, but I still feel that I was in the right. Am I the arsehole? By the way, this event convinced me to never go to a theatre unless I could reserve seats. And then he posted a reaction post after this, which I'm going to read now, but you have to judge the comments that come after, like on the original post. So the reaction, well, this has been absolutely fascinating. I didn't expect the slam dunk not the arsehole, but I certainly didn't anticipate the sheer vitriol from folks who are suddenly ride or die from an anonymous couple that 1. Came into the theatre after the lights went dark, 2. Ignored other open seat options where they could have asked folks to move because they wanted optimal seats, 3. Pushed for a full row of people, 4. Expected a family of 4 to move for them, 5. Got into a red-faced veiny screaming fit when they didn't get their way. I also know how Hitler got to Czechoslovakia. Okay, now it's very much you're the arsehole in this situation. You can tell that by the comments below that's going to come. You can tell that. But I'm almost siding with this guy a little bit. You know, he did turn up early to get those specific seats. He wanted those seats so badly. And I think I would almost feel a little bit the same being asked to move over in the cinema when I've been here. I got here nice and early for that spot. You know, he could have moved over one seat. Would it have made a huge difference? Probably not to his viewing, to be fair. But at the same time, I do get a little piece of what this guy is saying. And I do understand that would make me a petty arsehole too. But I'm going to accept that title. I will take that gladly. But we're going to go to the comments below to see what we can find. The Cunning Stunt says, you're the arsehole. You sound like Sheldon from Big Bang Theory. Alt Kite says, you're the arsehole. There's a special place in hell reserved for people who leave one seat between them and another in a packed theatre. August Sipped Away says, you're the arsehole, Sheldon. It's been 6 years and you're still obsessed with this. Yikes. OP replies to this saying, lol, I still remember it because it's the kind of thing that never happens to me. Random strangers cussing you at the top of their lungs on Christmas Day isn't something you easily forget. Neely JPEG says, you're the arsehole. They weren't entitled to your seat, no, but even you admitted that it wouldn't have drastically changed your overall movie experience. However, a couple having to sit separately and on their own would absolutely impacted theirs. Basically, this is a matter of, no, you didn't have to, but you're still a bit of an arsehole for it. Pure Return, you're the arsehole. Come on, just show some class. Imagine if it was their first date, you had no reason besides, oh, the movie would have looked worse. Ostentia says, you're the arsehole. This is so petty. It was one seat. Of course you're not obligated to move, as I'm sure others will tell you, but it was one seat. Such a minor thing to concede, so a couple can sit together. Now I know I said at the start that this guy, you know, I would have probably agreed with him a little bit, but I would have still given up that seat, you know. I wouldn't have went as far as him and said no. So don't hate me for that, right? Oh dear. Now, what do you guys think of this story? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to vote on that poll in the description for story 4. Once again, guys, thank you for being here today. The time out your day is always appreciated here. Being part of this community and telling me what you was doing yesterday was absolutely amazing. I love that some of you were knitting, some of you were cooking, some of you were taking a shower, some of you were walking, running. There was a whole loads of stuff going on while you were listening to me, just thinking that my voice was all over these places at that particular time. It's just insane. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. Oh, my jaw is really aching today. Thank you, and I will see you in the next one. Take care, guys. Much love.